Garrett, what do you think of when you hear the phrase coming out?
For me, coming out means that you are publicly declaring your homosexuality.
I love
Yeah, it's climbing to the highest place you can and yelling that you love
I love
or vagina or whatever it may be.
Today we're talking about coming out with author John Paul Brammer and his book, Hola Papi.
What if Dear Abby was a gay Mexican man on Grindr? Gay drama is an inexhaustible resource. I can always rely on it. There will be a new question every single day.
And we share our coming out stories using the power of animation. Coming up next.
Hello, homo. Being a homo comes with lots of stress. We're talking culture and we're talking sex. So join with Garrett and DeAndre too. All the gay things that they do. Hello, homo. You'll learn a lesson or two. Hello, homo.
I really started giving advice by accident. The book sort of talks about me trying to make ends meet as a freelancer in New York City, being broke, not wanting to move back to rural Oklahoma with my parents on the farm. I was working at NBC as a reporter. I was working on Teen Vogue articles on the train over to that job, like crying on the subway, writing about Kylie Jenner's fidget spinner. That was a very specific moment in time for me. So one of my gigs happened to be writing for Into, which was Grindr's outlet at the time. They were trying to do the whole Playboy thing, like I'm just here for the articles type situation. And they asked me, would you be interested in contributing a column? And I was like, yes. And I knew I wanted to write one once a week, but I didn't trust myself to have the time or brain cells to think of a new thing to write about every single week. So I was like, someone needs to provide me with a prompt to write about. And that is where the advice column and I became fast friends, because I was like, gay drama is an inexhaustible resource. I can always rely on it. There will be a new question every single day. The joke will be, what if Dear Abby was a gay Mexican man on Grindr? But then, I started receiving letters and they ended up being very heartfelt and they ended up really touching me. And I was like, okay, I can't make jokes about all these situations. So I kind of had to grow up a little bit and think I may not be able to give someone qualified advice, but I can do my best. I can be your friend at a bar that you can talk to and I can talk back or whatever. And that is sort of the DNA of Hola Papi. It's got a lot of playing with format, fourth wall breaks. It's a little silly, it's a little funny, but it's also very heartfelt at the same time. And that is still very much true to this day. And I tried to incorporate it as best as I can into the book.
I personally am a huge fan of the book itself and your online presence, your Twitter presence. I love it. So what was your inspiration for turning this advice column into a book?
The book is very much me reconciling dreams and accidents and audience and industry and all of that at once. I really couldn't do it without basing it off of Hola Papi, just because that is what has provided me the platform I have today, and I wanted to honor it.
And now it's time for Coming Out Stories with DeAndre and Garrett.
My husband and I have been dating secretly for 3 or 4 years, and we decided that we're gonna come out. We went on a cruise, a 7-day cruise, and as we were leaving port, we took our phones and we set our relationship statuses on Facebook to in a relationship with each other, and then we turned our phones off for a week.
Huge. That's amazing.
Yeah. How did you come out?
Great question. The first person I came out to was my friend Rachel, and it was a Halloween party. I was dressed like, of course, sexy Santa. We were waiting for an Uber, I think. And we were just on the street in Chicago, downtown, gorgeous city. I turned to her and was like, Rachel? Of course, I was drunk. Rachel, I gotta tell you something. And then I told her I was gay, and she was like, why now? And I was like, I actually don't know. I thought it was gonna be something fun for us to share, but okay.
This has been Coming Out Stories with DeAndre and Garrett.
I think the common theme for a lot of queer people really is wrestling with something that is sort of innate in you and trying to negotiate it with the outside world, trying to figure out, who do I tell? How do I navigate this? How does it reflect on who I am as a person? How do I really embody an identity? And what does it even mean to be gay or bisexual or trans? And so the common theme, I think, is really a linguistic one. It is people trying to figure out, what language can I use to allow me to better understand my desires, my identity, myself, And is it possible for me to really truly inhabit an identity like that? And I think it is so cornerstone to our culture and who we are as people to have to think so deeply about who we are and what the insides of our soul looks like. That introspection really runs through every letter I've gotten about coming out.
It takes a lot of energy to suppress your true self.
It really does.
It takes a lot of resources from within you to like constantly keep up a character and a facade. It's like holding your breath all the time. And you don't even realize that you're doing it. And then once you come out, it's like, I can be me.
And you get to wear fun clothes.
And you get to wear fun clothes and welcome to the club.